Hey, what's happening, guys? So, I have about 105 hours in Ghost of Yōtei, and I recently got the plat, and so I feel like I've spent enough time with the game, just testing things and just discovering all the charms and all the armor and unlocking all the upgrades that I could. And at this point, I believe that I have all the charms that are in the game, and of course, all the armor, because that is definitely, it's not as many as the charms. And I feel like I finally found a build that I like enough to share with you guys. So without further ado, let's go take a look. This build uses the 9-tail armor. And I'm not gonna tell you guys where to get all this stuff. You can just look it up on YouTube. Otherwise, you know me, I ramble too much, and it's gonna add like another 10 minutes of me just telling you guys where to find all this stuff. Where you can just look it up on YouTube, and there's tons of videos, telling you where to find exactly each of these pieces of the build, and you have the name, so that's all you need. The armor that we're going with is the 9-tail armor, which this one is the one that looks a lot, in my opinion, is like the one that looks the most like the ghost armor. It's my favorite looks wise by far, and I kind of wish that they would let you do in Ghost of Tsushima. You could turn your character completely, like 360 degrees. But here you can only go about 150 degrees or something like that. 160 maybe. But that was a nice feature, because with all the detail that these armor sets have, I just like to really appreciate, every little detail, which you really can't in this game. But anyway, so the major perks of this armor are the quickfire weapon damage, which is what they're calling ghost weapon damage in this game. Damage and duration of status effects inflicted on enemies are increased by a moderate amount. And so if it's analogous to what it was in Ghost of Tsushima, the designators are minor, moderate, major, and massive. And I think there's colossal, but very few things have colossal in Ghost of Tsushima. And I think in this game, I haven't seen anything that has a colossal amount. But if I remember correctly, minor is about 5%, moderate might be 10. I think the increments were about 5%, if I remember correctly. But it's been a while, and most of my hours are on Legends. So correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I think minor is 5, moderate is 10, major 15, massive 20. And then if there's colossal, it could be 25. But yeah, so you get a moderate amount of damage increased on what ghost weapon damage or quickfire weapon damage and status effect duration. And then the secondary perk is assassinating enemies has a minor chance of granting two quickfire ammo. And then the third one we don't really care about too much. We're not really doing a lot of stealth. Enemy detection speed and assassination noises are reduced by a moderate amount. That's the armor. Then for the charms, this is my favorite armor. It's not the one that I use the most. The one that I use the most used the Bounty Master armor, because it's just a lot of the bosses, a lot of the encounters can be quite difficult, and this one just made it a little bit more fun in a way, or more, not fun, it was more efficient to clear things, especially boss fights with this armor. And this one is just more fun for playing around, just clearing camps and stuff like that, which is what I like the most. I do enjoy the boss fights, but most of the encounters in camps are just more fun to me. And anyway, so this was my favorite. After doing a lot of iterations of this build, this is the combination of charms that I landed on, and it's the most fun for me personally. And it has really good synergy, and it also gave me the kind of optimization that I usually aim for. And so this one is the charm of Futsunushi, which makes it so that perfect parries, and perfect dodges are easier to perform. Then the charm of Defensive Blade, which makes it so that you can recover one kunai after performing a perfect dodge, which is great for sustain. Sustainability in this build is actually quite high. Then the charm of Hidden Blades, for you to throw 3 additional kunai. Then the charm of Burning Blades, which makes it so that the kunai now inflict fire damage and ignite flammable objects, such as grass on the ground or shields, which are made out of wood in this game. Then the charm of Stolen Flame, automatically ignite your weapon by parrying a fire attack or blocking a fire arrow. While ignited, your weapon is unblockable, which is the same mechanic that Way of the Flame had. So you don't have to worry about different types of weapons or being weapon aligned or anything like that. You can just attack. It's good synergy with the charm of Futsunushi because you can parry more easily. Then the charm of Fire Mastery, which makes it so that Oni's Flame inflicts additional damage. Heavy attacks with ignited weapons spread fire to nearby enemies. A lot of these charms are taken from Ghost of Tsushima. They just either change the name or change the charms a little bit themselves, like the effect. For example, the charm of Futsunushi, I don't know if it was the name in Ghost of Tsushima, but there was a charm with that exact same effect. I don't think that there was a charm of Defensive Blade, but I could be wrong. The charm of Hidden Blades definitely came from Ghost of Tsushima. The charm of Burning Blades also, I think, from Ghost of Tsushima. The charm of Stolen Flame, I'm like 99% sure that is new in Ghost of Yōtei. And the charm of Fire Mastery is also from Ghost of Tsushima. It made it so that Way of the Flame inflicted more damage and heavy attacks spread fire as well. They changed how that action is performed in this game a little bit. It was better in Ghost of Tsushima, but it was maybe too OP, which is why they changed it a little bit in this, but it's still very powerful. So that is basically the combination of the armor set and the charms that we're using. Now, the combat loop is pretty simple. You're going to want to clear enemies with your kunai first. And then when you're running low, you can do perfect dodges to get more kunai back. Or you can just pop your smoke and get more quickfire weapons. So usually whatever you got depleted is what gets refilled. And that's it, really. It's just a lot of fun to clear enemies like that. And then perfect parrying, attacks with fire, or, be it melee attacks with Oni Flame or fire arrows, and then using those heavy attacks to spread the fire. So it's basically a fire, quick fire. Sounds redundant, but it's like a fire build, just for short, I guess. Because I would like to say that it's a fire ghost weapon damage build, but it's a fire quick fire damage build, really, and status effects. And that's it. Unfortunately, I'm in the end game with this character, so I don't have a lot of footage for this build, unfortunately, because, like I said, I just recently found the perfect combination of charms that works for me. And at that point, I didn't have anything else to fight. And the patrol frequency is very, very minimal in this game, as opposed to in Ghost of Tsushima, where you could also, at any time, you could find a Mongol patrol, and then you could just, fight them or whatever. So for the purposes of getting footage of me testing the build, it's been more difficult because it's so rare to find patrols after you beat the story in this game and after you've done all the content. But I did get a little bit of footage, so I am going to show a little bit of the build in action. It's just not going to be as much as I would like or as I normally have for you guys. But there you have it. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one.